if you'd read Record Sport online or looked at various WhatsApp chats or around about social media, you would have known that James Tavernier and Nico Raskin weren't playing because the team was leaked on the day of the game. And Barry Ferguson, of course, is telling us in the Daily Record, their columnist, and of course, caretaker manager at the time, was saying it was an issue when he was there. Friends texting him and saying, "Is this your team?" And they were bang on. So there's clearly a mole somewhere at Auchenhowie. How concerned do you think Russell Martin will be by that?
It's certainly a problem he doesn't need at such a busy time for his rebuild, his revolution at Rangers. He's trying to get new guys in the building. He's trying to implement a new style of play. He doesn't need these distractions. But I tell you what, it must be nagging at the back of his mind, because how can you trust anyone in the building? If you know it's somebody in the building, who knows who it could be? It could be, I don't even want to name positions because I don't want to cast aspersions. But if you can't trust the people in your own building to keep really important information like that under wraps, then you've got a serious problem. I mean, you lose a surprise element, a surprise factor, and that would have been a big surprise. His team lines dropping on Tuesday night. Look, it's not new in Scottish football. I think Celtic managers have had issues down the years.
I was going to say, I remember during the COVID season with Neil Lennon after a defeat to Rangers in that first Old Firm game, he was raging about it.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers last season, it was after they'd beaten Aberdeen in the Premier Sports Cup semi-final, 6-0, but he says it's not nice when it's out there, and especially if it's from Celtic supporters.
Absolutely.
It might feel great for someone's ego to put it out and pass it on, but as a manager, I can tell you that I've had it before with the opposition teams. When I've got to know about it, it's really helped me in preparation. That's the key. That's what I was going to say. This is a manager saying this is the
best answer he could get. And I tell you what, is bang on. If it's just knowledge is power and folk can't help themselves putting out there, it would actually be even worse if somebody was doing it for other ulterior motives.
Yeah, well, listen, the obvious conclusion to draw is, when players were dropped, it'll be, it's not to say necessarily a player himself is going out and do it, but a player might say to his agent or say to his pal, I'm not playing, the manager's going like this, could be in the half, and then they get it out there.
Yeah,
it could be various ways.
Was there not a famous Scottish one when Craig Levein went with the...
Oh, yeah. Do you know, I was thinking of that
4-6-0?
I was actually thinking of that one this morning. When I knew this topic was coming up, my mind went back to that one. Yeah, he certainly pointed to a few potential culprits
in his squad.
Yeah. But again, players have been dropped. Yeah. It's not hard to work out.
Yep.
Okay. Fraser, staying on the European theme, the SPFL finally introduced a rule this season that teams could postpone a fixture sandwiched between their playoff ties.
Yeah.
All teams were allowed to do it. Celtic opted not to utilise it. They're going to go ahead with their game against Livingston at home. But Rangers, Aberdeen, Hibs...
Aberdeen certainly have.
Aberdeen and Rangers did.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it's the right thing to do? There's an argument, or do you need games now at this stage of the season? There's also the potential of losing ground. I know you still have a game in hand. It's the old cliche, you better have points in the bag. What about the momentum of games? Do you think it's right?
I think you've answered the question for me there. It's again, two separate cases. I think Aberdeen, I think Rangers are right to do it because they'll be 7 or 8 games deep by that point and really big games, through 4 qualifiers.
So you think they'll need the break?
I think it'll help them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they'll need it, but who knows? They might have picked up a few niggles by that point, and you've got to think ahead just in case. So I think Celtic, on the other hand, you saw maybe a bit rusty in the opening game against St Mirren. They're games, competitive games to get up to speed, get new guys up to speed. I think it will benefit Celtic to play that game at home at Livingston. Rangers, what game was it they cancelled again?
Away to St Mirren.
See, that's a very physical game. St Mirren bullied Rangers in Philip Clement's last game as manager. They're a very physical team. I can see why Rangers have cancelled that one. Yeah,
but the argument, Fraser, against it, and it's easy, a lot of Rangers fans who have made the point, is that if Celtic were to come to Ibrox and win the first Old Firm game of the season, I know it's like a negative way of looking at it, but that's what we do. They could be 8 points behind. It's psychologically, even at that stage,
That's a good argument. It's a tough.
Imagine your 8 point. Can you imagine the mood around Ibrox?
Oh my word! Yeah,
8 points behind. Now, if you're in the Champions League phase and you've banked 40 million or whatever it is, I suppose if you're the 49ers and you're Russell Martin, you're looking at a bigger picture. But it's a long way back even at that stage, because you then get.
What if they go to St Mirren and lose the game anyway. And they're 8 points behind without the game in hand.
Without the game in hand.
So
I know.
look,
It's all ifs and buts.
Absolutely.
But
you can argue it both ways. I think they're right. I think both clubs are right to do what they've done.
But you think they're right to do what they've done, yeah. Because, of course, Celtic could have... Okay.
We'll never know.